very often to be able to actually confess Jesus Christ with one's lips to so many people at one time. I know that I have been quoted in the press as saying that I am a Christian, but I will be the first person to say that don't believe everything you read in the paper, but this, believe. I can only say to people who are non-Christians, and I speak on behalf of all Christians, that until you've actually taken the step of saying, well, Jesus Christ, take over my life, it's no good thinking of the theory and saying, well, maybe I'll try next week. One's got to try it, and I promise that it works, because it's worked for so many people I know, and it works for me every day. It's because I've accepted Jesus Christ.
I know, I'm very much aware that people still say that things aren't going to continue. You know, a lot of people kind of pull up all sorts of barriers and all sorts of excuses for why, for instance, they needn't look towards Jesus. And one of the good ways is to look at some Christian and say, well, you wait, in a week's time it'll all flop, and what's the use of my looking into it? Well, I don't think you ever sort of, you can really hardly do much for those kind of people except pray very hard that, in fact, one day they'll accept the challenge themselves. My faith now, my belief now is 7 years stronger, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get out of show business very much because I felt, well, what could I possibly do for God, for Jesus, you know, where I was? I mean, I just thought, well, you know, I have no right to be in show business, which is a very wonderful position, and I simply got to be actively involved in life as a Christian, and I just couldn't see that I could do that and remain in show business. So I made my plans to get out. Now, this is where I always think that God really does know best. Because when I was at the height of making my plans, and in fact I'd canceled my fan club, and I told my manager and the press that I was going to leave, I in fact, actually, Billy, appeared here in Earl's Court in '66, and I met your film company, and they in fact asked me to do a film because I was a Christian. There is the world of television, there is the world of radio, there's the world of books. There are so many media to be used for God. And so therefore, over a period of about 6 or 7 months after that '66 rally, I decided, after praying very hard about the whole thing, that obvious thing to do was to call the press together again and say, I'm not going to give it up. And I can't tell you, they had an absolute field day, as you can imagine, because, well, the stories flew left, right, and center about, you know, how show business really had me.
Right.
But I've got it. Yeah. That's the thing about being a Christian, is that when you got, if you are a Christian, then you have got life. I mean, that's what it says. Life hasn't got you, you have got life. And I think that what we have to do is just absolutely make use of it to the nth degree for God.